again.
You already know.
No, I do. Before we start, I do want to say prayers up to everyone in LA and in California that's dealing with
Absolutely.
the horrible fires, losing everything. If you're in a position to donate, Red Cross. A lot of people have a lot of things going on, even just your time. Honestly, people are donating in person, monetarily. So if you can, definitely help, and just prayers out to everyone that's dealing with that actively. It's very sad, very very sad.
It's very
Hundred-
sad. And I've seen
100%.
people say stuff like, why we gonna care about the rich people that's losing? Listen, man, I don't care if you're wealthy or not. Losing everything sucks. I don't care if you're able to get it back fast. People got children, kids is losing stuff. Like, it's not, I get it.
I mean,
Wealthy
but
people
also, what about the
can
stuff that
be.
you can't? What about the stuff that you can't replace though, like pictures and
Mm-hmm.
I
No,
was
yeah,
saying, I'll be
definitely.
real.
Like I saw last night that Wemby and I want to say I think Chris Paul gave JJ Redick kids some they jerseys and stuff because they lost a bunch of different memorabilia that they had. So I know some people don't care about that because JJ, he been making money for a long time, but it's still kids. They gotta go through it. They see all that. You know what I'm saying? Outside, like, I can imagine my kids seeing those fires and have to deal with that. So it's just like you said,
No,
prayers out to them out there. I didn't realize it
no,
was that bad like it is out there for sure. So,
no. I mean, I
you know,
definitely get it too. Because I mean, I lost my home in 2018 to a hurricane, so I get it. It's difficult trying to start over, and then you lose everything, bro. Like you lose all like your electronic
you did, Nick?
devices. You lose. Yeah, we had a bad hurricane out here. It was a Category 5 Hurricane Michael. It's crazy out here.
Now, Lo, I
Yeah,
feel bad for us talking about Florida like we do, and this man had been through it. He done lost his home in a hurricane, and we didn't even know. I didn't even know.
Nick is secretive. He be at basketball games and nobody even knows. Oh, I'm covering the game
Yeah, he
today. We've
come,
been talking to him all day, all day. Don't even know about it.
or we
Terrible
don't find
communication.
out until the show. We don't find out until the
I
show.
gotta, I
Right?
gotta move. I gotta move. I gotta move in
Yeah.
silence sometimes.
He been single too
Yes.
long. That's how you. That's how you move when you single.
No, that's
You don't tell
seriously.
nobody your whereabouts.
Nah, for
You know what I'm saying?
real.
When you in a
No,
I
relationship
mean,
for
or
real.
married,
I'm
you
really
got to
just
tell
that guy,
people where you at.
honestly. Now you know the point. I put out
Man,
a tweet earlier. I put out a tweet earlier today. I was like, "Yo, respect to like vloggers and stuff, because I can't do that stuff. Like people be posting their day to day movement and stuff. Like I saw one vlogger, like it was like they went to Walmart, then they went to Hobby Lobby, then they went to the grandma's. I'm like, bro, like I don't want to see like your whole day to day
Right.
activity like
Yeah.
bro, listen, I tried vlogging. I want to say I tried vlogging in like 2017, like everyday vlogging. Like I could do some vlogs, you know what I'm
that. Yeah,
saying? I go to a game, I'm working a game, I could do a vlog. But every day, no, man. I don't need to record what I'm eating, brushing my
right.
teeth, going to the store. I be doing stuff all day long. I ain't got no, I'm straight on that.
You gotta
But
bring a camera with you everywhere.
everywhere and posting up, like people be posting their tripods up. It just be funny seeing people do it. Like
I
I
gotta put
know
my
what's
camera on
happening,
the
but
shelf. I gotta put my camera on the shelf just to get some canned beans or some shit. Like, yeah.
yes. Man, anything else before we get into why we here today? I mean, we know why we here, but we got a special guest today. Anything else before we have to talk about before we oh man, shout out to Lo, man. Lo was at Maryland for the USC Maryland game. She got to see Big Jew do her thing, in
Not the
person.
little,
So
not the little Jew. She got to play
not
In the
the
better.
little
snow.
Jew.
In the
Not
snow
the
too.
little Jew. Hey man,
Yeah.
listen. I don't know how it happened like that, Dayshell. I definitely noticed that, and I'm gonna fix it for for the when we upload. I have no
I'm
idea.
crying.
I
I'm
ain't
glad you
realize
noticed that. I'm glad you noticed that. But let's get really into first of all back to episode 20, back to the show for episode 22 of the Best Damn W show. Y'all favorite crew, Low out here, natural hair Low. Nick got his
Period.
do-rag out here. You feel me? I just got my locks hanging down looking like Black Jesus. I'm in my rock star mode. Raina loves this. I just be having my hair down, so but I'm ready to have some fun. We got us a guest out here. Real quick, I took a chance to reach out because when they announced this, the difference that was happening or going on Unrivaled, I I said, man, how did he get to be the only man on the panel, on the group? And he liked my tweet and he laughed. So I'm like, I don't think he thought it was disrespectful. So I'm gonna take my shot to get him on here. And
Hey Jay,
but
shoot, Jay.
yeah, you gotta do. Hey man, listen, I'm out here like Curry. I'm just gotta shoot. You never know. You just never know. Sometimes you will miss, but you will make it. But I'm just gonna bring up what's not Black Jesus. Yes, Black Jesus. That's what my mother-in-law called me when I got my hair done like this. But we got a special guest. You know, he the play-by-play announcer for the Connecticut Sun, the play-by-play announcer for the Maine Celtics. That's the G League affiliate. Man, he also do the National Lacrosse League Game of the Week on ESPN, which I didn't even know that was a thing. Shout out to him. He's a personality on Action Network, 98.5, the Sports Hub in Boston, and DraftKings, and the newest on the play-by-play announcer for Unrivaled, Brendan Glasheen, ladies and gentlemen. Brendan Glasheen to the building. We're gonna clap until he gets here. I don't know where he is. I got it. Boom. Oh, where you at? Oh, there we go.
There he is.
Hello there. How you doing, man?
What an intro.
Yeah.
Could you send that to me when we're done, and then I can like just let that play on loop as like my voicemail or something? That's good.
Right.
Yes, I got you, man. No problem. I definitely got you. But I appreciate you being here. You answered so fast. Like when I messaged you, and then I saw a message so fast, I'm like, it must have been like a group chat. And I saw it was you. I was like, yo, okay. And then you was like, yeah, I know you was busy this week going everything that's going up. And then you said, let's do it. I'm glad you made it. I'm glad you're here. How you doing today?
I'm great. I mean, look, you got me at a good time. I was packing up my life to come down here to Miami. And look, at the end of the day, I'm me, and then you work with Lisa Leslie, and you're humbled right away. So yeah. I mean, I'm just a guy, and I'm very fortunate to be down here and getting used to things, getting acclimated. I think we're going to be in for a really exciting weekend here with the inaugural season getting started. So fired up about it. Can't share everything, but we're fired up about it. So it's been good.
Yeah, no.
And listen, being a New Englander, this weather is not bad. I must say, the weather's pretty
good.
So.
That's what I was going to ask you, man. Like I was going to ask you real quick. How is the weather out there? Because you're in down South Florida. I'm in Tallahassee. It's cold out here, like in the 30s out here. So how is it down there?
I know, it's great. Well, today here I was. I'm really turning into a Floridian. I'm like, oh, it's only 70 and cloudy today, as opposed to 75, 78 and sunny. No, it's good. It's good. I mean, pretty soon it will get a little more humid, but I mean, come on. I'll take this over snow, rain.
Absolutely.
There'll be some rain, but cold rain, wind. It's good. It's good, Nick. It's great.
Especially coming from the Boston area. I'm guessing that's where you live, in the Boston area. So yeah, so
I grew up.
I already know it's cold. I already know it's cold out there, and then you having to deal with that, and then just being in Miami at this time is just perfect. I mean, who wouldn't want to be in Miami? You get to be in Miami, you get to call games and watch these athletes in Miami at all times. So before we even get into all that, man, how'd you even get into being a play-by-play announcer, or even knowing that that's what you wanted to do to get into that? And you do so much. You do a lot of it. So how'd your journey start into getting into sports media?
Well, when you figure out that you can't play the sports, you figure out another way to do it. Right? Like I'd be the kid in right field in Little League. I put the glove up to my mouth and I'd be like, oh, here comes Hamilton at the plate. And swing and a miss, strike one. Like, yeah, I found a joy in that, it's really pathetic. Also, video games. I mean, you all played the 2Ks, MLB The Show, Madden,
still do,
right? And when you play those games, and I'm sure they're better. They're way better now in terms of how much they've developed over the years. But when you play those sports video games, the announcers are saying the same stuff over and over and over again. So you want to put your own little spin on it. So when you're 9, 10, 11 years old, I found an interest in it. And you watch games. I would watch Celtics games growing up being in Boston, or growing up watching any other sport. You're like, you find yourself watching and listening to the announcers more than you do the actual product on the court. And yeah, I've kind of taken it and ran with it. I went to school for it. And especially in women's basketball now, it's been really good to me. I mean, doing the Sun now, I did some college games, women's and men's, leading into that, but it's just been unbelievable what it's turned into now the last 4 or 5 years, the way the sport has grown. So I always kind of had a feeling I wanted to do something on the air, but it's easier said than done. I know a lot of folks now, content creation is a big part of the business, and putting yourself out there, shooting your shot on Twitter. Not to name anybody here that's on the podcast, but no, but that's part of it, though. It really is. No, it is. But that's how you grow, and what you guys are doing,
No, absolutely
growing your audience, and you gotta. There are a lot more opportunities to be on the air, but man, it's tough. Like you gotta put the time in. You gotta grind it. Find guests and put together compelling content, whether it be a live game broadcast or a studio or a podcast like this. So I've sunk my teeth into it, and I love all of it. So anytime someone asks to jump on, especially for something like this, it's like, I get it. I get the other side of it when you're trying to get it off the ground or keep, you know what I mean? I get it. So it's fun. We're just talking shop, right? So that's why it's not a bad alternative to playing the games, to answer your question.
Yeah. And I try to tell people that all the time when it comes to podcasting for sure. A lot of people think it's just like, we just pull up and we just here talking. Like it's a bunch of back work that we do.
Right.
And it's like a lot of people don't understand that. And a lot of podcasts start and you go into the system or go on Apple or Spotify, and podcasts have 5 episodes. And you because they just can't deal with it no more. Like it's like you gotta keep showing up. You gotta just show up. You gotta be consistent, but it's hard doing this. And it just want to keep talking and keep showing up and keep showing up. And people always think it's so many people doing it, but you'll find your community. And I feel like we have. And like you saying, like what you're saying is like right on time, because it's so many days that you want to just stop doing it. Yep. Like Nick, he jokes all the time on Twitter and said, this is the last year I'm podcasting. He's joking. He's not going to stop, but it's just some days you feel like that. It's a grind. So it's just like, and I appreciate you coming on here doing this and responding so fast, because sometimes people, I think we all dealt with it. People go to reach out to somebody and they like Hollywood them. Like they just either they leave them on red or give them the runaround and they say they're going to come on or don't do it, or you try to network with them and they're not really trying to do that. Just give you the runaround. So it's like, I appreciate you again for doing this and saying the words.
And to respond to that, everyone has their responsibilities and their daily lives that they go through. So, I try to not make the assumptions that people have things going on, or it could be a tough time at home, whatever it may be. But I guarantee you, to answer to respond to your point, all of us at some point along the road, launching a podcast or being on the air as a play-by-play guy, and someone's going to high school or college and wants to get into this, at some point along the road, I don't care what age you are, how much experience you have, you had a select few, maybe a dozen folks that have helped you along the way to uplift you. And that I really value that, because I would want that. It's the golden rule, right? Treat others the way you'd want to be treated. I know it's cliche,
absolutely,
but like it's true. Like you need other people to uplift you. So you always got to remind yourself of that. Like, how did you get to where you are and whatnot? So that's important.
Yeah.
So
I'm a firm believer in each one teach one, and that's basically, what you said. So kind of piggybacking off of when you got your start, did you initially start in women's basketball, or what kind of drew you towards covering women's basketball?
I was doing men's and women's college games, honestly, just to fill out the schedule, really. And when you work at a school, I was in New Hampshire, I was at Boston College, College of the Holy Cross. You're just kind of taking what you can get as far as getting games. And then so it's funny how you guys I thought the intro was fantastic, but just to give you guys some background, I was doing the National Lacrosse League has been around for 35, coming up on 40 years, features a lot of Canadians. It's really a Canadian based league with most of the franchises from there. But one of the teams was in New England. I put New England in air quotes. They were in Connecticut. They played at the Mohegan Sun with the Sun play. So I had just kind of, when you do play by play, I think it's important to have versatility. Ideally, you want to call one sport. If you have one sport you're comfortable with, you do as many games as you can. And I'm in a place now with basketball that's been very good to me. But at the time, you're like, okay, whatever sticks, like I'm in. I'll give it a shot and see what I can do and try to do a professional job. So I was doing the New England Black Wolves in the winter, but the same folks that are on the staff for marketing, public relations, social media, go right down the list, they also did Connecticut Sun stuff. So I had always made a mention every 5-6 months, and they already had someone in the position. I said, hey, if you ever have a need, I'd love to help out, and just being involved with that. So that you go back now, that's 7-8 years ago. I had paid more attention. I'm like, okay, this WNBA product's pretty good. And then, the bubble. So this was 2019, and then the pandemic happened. And the National Lacrosse League didn't have a season. They just didn't have a season flat out because it's too complicated with the visas going up and down from Canada and back, just to try and do a bubble, yada, yada, too much. Of course, the W had their bubble in Bradenton, Florida. And a year coming out of the pandemic in 2021, I had been told that Bob Husler, who is the longtime play-by-play guy for the Connecticut Sun, he was retiring. But I had kind of got a leg up on that because I knew so many people in the organization. So my name was in the ring for the job. And I'm like, oh, this is the thing. And of course, for a lot of us, I mean, I was very lucky with the pandemic. I got a lot. I did a lot of work on YouTube doing stuff for DraftKings. We were doing Madden simulations. Weird. We were like calling fake Madden games for a year and a half. It was wild. It was fun. It was so fun. I don't know if we can swear. I was going to say something else, but anyway, it was great. But coming out of that, you're making yourself a little crazy, like we all were. And the Sun job opened. I interviewed for it, and the rest is history. And that was 2021 in March. And ever since, I've been in the professional women's basketball space, and it's just kind of taken off. So I don't know if that directly answers your question, Lo, but it's like you just kind of take an opportunity, and then what you find too in this business, like a lot of people can call a game and a lot of people know stuff, but then when you build relationships with folks behind the camera, within a front office, I'm talking about at a team level, you form a relationship with players. Kurt Miller was the coach when I got there. You marinate in it, and you try to make the most of it, and you do your job well, and then the rest takes care of itself. So I've been very lucky to be with the Sun, and it's been a lot of fun.
And I'm glad you brought up dealing with the coaches and the players. So different personalities and personnel in sports media build relations with players in different ways. We had Chris Haynes on another podcast that I'm on, the NBA Insider, and he once told us that he always kind of build rapport, like his technique in building rapport with different players was to inquire about their family and how they're doing, because it made the players, know that he actually cared about them outside of just being, a basketball player. So my question to you is, what method do you typically utilize to kind of build that rapport with players to have them, trust you, whether it's with information that you might say on the broadcast or just in general?
I think most of the information we would get. So at first, going to shoot-arounds, going to practices, and then a lot of those questions at first, I'm sure Chris would agree, like you're picking their brains about basketball. And then if you just keep showing up, and then when you do your job, so if you go to a shoot-around on the day of a game, and then you string together a few weeks of games, and you got to call the game like the game is. Like there's some level of criticism involved if something doesn't go well. Now, I've been very lucky in Connecticut because they win a lot of games. I mean, when you work for a team and they win 80% of their home games, and I mean, you're in the Final Four every year,
right?
Like that's it. So I'm like kind of a bad example in that. So there's been a lot of great moments.
Right, that's true.
You know what I mean, though? Like there wasn't a lot of turmoil, but so it was easy to go when you're like, all right, they're whatever. This past year they were 11-0, and you're like going to practices, and you can really get into the nitty gritty. You're not like, hey, what's it going to take to get a win today? Like veteran group led by your ATs, DeWanna Bonner, Brianna Jones. I mean, but like, I think when you just keep showing up and they just appreciate it, and then I think there's a level of like you have to have some. It has to be organic too, right? Like.
Right.
I'm not going to show up day 2 of the job. And also, I should mention that was coming out of the pandemic, so we still had to wear masks, and we were also up. We called the games. This was my first year. We called the games at the concourse level. We couldn't even be on the court. So
wow.
shoot-arounds really weren't even a thing. We would just do Zoom and media availability with the coaches. And then I'll tell you how I got spoiled is they put us on the road in 2022. So we had a chance to travel, and not every team in the league gets that. I think Vegas travels here and there. I think teams do select trips, but we went on the road with the team my second year, and that was a game changer because when you're on the road and a lot of things pre charter deal and whatnot, you saw what they put themselves through to get ready for a game. We had, I think, our second game of the year or third game of the year, 2022. They were on the road at Indiana on a Tuesday night. So we had a game on a Saturday at Mohegan. They played the Sparks. And then for me, it was like, okay, we're traveling. So I live in Boston, but for that trip, I said, okay, I'm going to park my car, leave it overnight, and then we're going to get on the plane with the team. And mostly I just flew out of Boston. They were very helpful about that. They just meet them wherever they were. But we were delayed in Indiana. I don't mind Indianapolis. I really don't. The airport stinks. I mean, it was awful. But like some of the horror stories you've heard about and then seeing it, I'm like, wow. Bunkered down on a layover in Detroit or wherever the heck we were. I don't really remember. It was a while ago, but I don't know. And then you have an opportunity to go get a bite to eat, and there's Jonquel Jones at the time was on the Sun, and we're just talking about she was talking about her dog or something. I can't remember exactly, but then you're just talking about life stuff, and it's a more intimate setting, right? Like we're in an airport, hanging out, having a bite to eat. I don't think Jonquel Jones wants me to ask her about, hey, how was it going up against Brianna Stewart last week? She doesn't talk about that. She's just hanging out. Yeah. So I will say that was very helpful to have that experience. And again, the team was really good. So building the relationships became very, very easy. And they've had the same core group for years. But yeah, younger players like Ty Harris has been involved. Now Dejanay Carrington, who I've gotten to know really well, and I have a good relationship with Dejanay, and she's fantastic. So super smart. Yeah. So I mean, traveling was really helpful. And again, they've had the same team. They've had the same team now for a while. So I'm almost kind of a bad person to ask on that front. But I think again, you kind of just said it. You put words in my mouth, but it's very true. You want to just be normal and just try to hang, and you pick your spots. Post-game presser, okay, ask away about the hoops, but they also need the mental break sometimes too. So
right,
1,000%. Talking about your time in Connecticut over the past couple of years, you've definitely done an incredible job. But you also work with a great supporting cast as well, like Ashley Battle, Tarika Foster Brasby. So what has it been like working with them, and how much have you learned from them, or how much have you taught them, as far as you guys building your chemistry together?
Glad you asked that, because Tarika is one of my favorite people. We've become close. She knows my wife. I know her husband. We've become very friendly. Amazing. Tarika is an encyclopedia. And speaking of connecting with players, Tarika had a lot of established relationships when she came aboard in 2022. I actually met Tarika at one of my first games in 21. I think she was filling in for it wasn't on the broadcast. It was for something else, but at the time, Tarika was working at ESPN, and that's, of course, not too far from Bristol, not far from Mohegan Sun. So Tarika is somebody who I've leaned on to just kind of get an idea of the fabric of the sport and also the W. So shout out Tarika Foster Brasby. She's amazing. And we've become really good friends too. And you could tell right off the bat, she's got a great personality. I joke with people, if you have beef with Tarika, then I don't get you. I mean, she's fantastic.
That's
Ashley,
true. I don't want to interrupt you, but I met her for the first time in person All-Star Weekend, and you're right. Her personality is just very infectious. She just brightens up a room when she walks in. So I kind of just wanted to throw that out there too, because I agree. If you have an issue with her, it's probably you. You're probably the issue.
Yeah. Ashley Battle's another one. Well, so Ashley and I had connected. I think I'd met her once or twice, but we didn't know each other that well. this was before she started working with the Sun, but when she got the job with the Celtics, we had crossed paths in the G League because she's the assistant GM for the main Celtics. And she works as a scout for the Boston Celtics. So we got to know each other more. She actually filled in on some of our broadcasts, and then we actually called some more games. And she's a riot. She's hysterical. But having that institutional knowledge, having played in the league, Ashley's another one who's just very even-keeled, really chill. Again, just another person who lived it and played it. You know, she'll remind me all the time. You guys know she played at UConn. She'll bring that up all the time too. But no, Nick, it's a great crew. It really is. And I think our production crew, they do a really outstanding job. Those people matter a lot to help our jobs, make our lives easier. If you don't have that support behind the scenes, it does not filter through the same way. So we all genuinely like going to work together. And Megan McEwen's done games with us, Idona Thaki as well. It's funny. My first year I worked with Kim Adams. Monica McNutt was doing games with us, and I did see Monica. That. I see Monica on First Take. She's doing stuff at ESPN, doing stuff for the Knicks, and I'm like, whoa, it's Monica McNutt. And then Rebecca Lobo did some games. Rebecca hadn't historically done games for the Sun before. They kind of worked into her deal with ESPN, but I mean, talk about, like, for me, like, somewhat like just the people you get to work with, and I'm like, how lucky am I in terms of people just to like pick apart, you know, just them being around made me feel welcome. So we've had a really good crew, and I know everybody watching the game, whether it be on TV or they're pulling up League Pass, that's what you see. And just like with podcasts, they're going to see this hour and whatever it goes, or the 2.5-hour TV product. There's so much that goes into it. And then at the end of the day, the game's the game, and we got to call the game. And there might be 70% of the stuff we talked about in the shoot around or in the production meeting that doesn't make the air, because that's the beauty of it in live sports. The game tells the story. No, I'm glad you asked about them. They're fantastic. And I expressed that to them when I found out about Unrivaled. I said, you guys have and they know. I shouldn't say you guys have no idea. They know. Like I said, you guys have been big help to me over the years. I like to think I do my job, but also like just having that morale boost, being around them. It's how it makes you sound and feel better when you go into a broadcast. It doesn't feel like work. It really doesn't. We show up to the arena, and we do our thing. We have our routines, and it's good. It's great.
Also, another thing that I'll point as well, I think Tarika's music taste is really on point. So I just wanted to point that out. If Tarika's ever watched
that too, both of them, they'll do it live on the air too. Those two, Ashley and Tarika. They're like, if I don't know, well, Ashley especially, she's a little older than us, but Ashley will give me a hard time if I don't know a song that they play in the pregame warm up. It's like a throwback, and she's like, "You really don't know this song?" And then she'll go tell Tarika, "Did you hear he didn't know that song?" I'm just like, really, like. And they'll pile on. So maybe that's why they keep me around. I'm like their punching bag that I just put up with.
It's funny because I'm on another podcast, the 9450, and we had Ashley Battle on there, and she literally mentioned that in the middle of the podcast. She was like, yeah, his music taste isn't great though. So if you ever talk to him, you can tell that. Yes.
See?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Shots
so that's
fired,
already out there.
That's funny. Since we are talking about the Sun, how do you feel about the future of the organization going forward? We got free agents. We don't know if people coming back. How do you feel about the direction? I know you're saying you've been in a perfect situation, like you've been able to have everybody winning there. So it could be a change coming in Connecticut. Yeah. Like they may not be winning games like that. They might have to pick somebody else to build around, bring pieces in. So how do you feel about the direction of the franchise?
Yeah, I mean, to be very clear, like when we do the so the postseason, I know they've had some lapses, but I'm just talking like a regular season guy, right? It's like, I mean, how can you, like, year one, 26-6, MVP of the league, Jonquel Jones, AT's hurt, comes back. You're like, okay, shit. I mean, like, what a great situation in terms of like you're winning all these games, and you bring AT back, you go to the finals, then you're in the Final Four, then you're in the Final Four again. They've built a little bit of a nice young mix with Ty Harris and Dejanay. That was a big part of this past season to get them implemented as two new starting guards. And what I give Stephanie White a lot of credit for sticking with both of them early in the year. I mean, Dejanay, of course, at the end, we know most improved player. Like I'm saying early on in the year, you could have done some tinkering. Now they started off real hot. But those two players are certainly building blocks. The acquisition of Marina Mabry, and I'm sure you've all noticed they're getting along like two peas in a pod down here.
Yes,
Actually,
the content is excellent.
They're everywhere together. Like they're not even on the same team, and they're recording stuff at shoot arounds. And I'm like,
it's crazy to see like where they started off too. They started off as just competitors, like real enemies, and now like once they get to the same team, they're like the best of friends.
Yeah, but like that, and you know what? That's pro sports though, right? And like that's I mean, when folks put this under a microscope, I'm like, these women deserve the same kind of attention, right? Like, and Lo, you're shaking. I mean, I can only imagine from a woman's standpoint. It's like, come on here. It's pro sports. Like,
yes.
So yeah, and Marina and Dejanay, to your point, Nick, are like very similar in that regard. They dig in defensively. They like some trash talk, and then of course, when your teammates, I grew up. I'm a New Englander. When Kevin Garnett came to the Celtics, I can only imagine like, oh, Kevin Garnett must bug everybody. Like I would not like that guy if he wasn't on my team. Talking about inside the lines, 48 minutes. This guy drives me nuts. And I think those two have come to find out that they have a lot in common. So that's been cool. What a 180 that is. Still though, what a 180. I'm like, this is what a time. What a time to be around for that. Yeah.
Hang on. Speaking of Marina, how did go ahead, Lo,
go ahead. Okay, I'm glad you touched on that because I'm glad you touched on that. Because I think it's important for especially casual fans and just new people that have just started to watch the WNBA realize that these women are competitors at the end of the day. Like we don't ask if LeBron goes talk trash to, let's say, Ja Morant. It's not a whole think piece about it. It's not on First Take every day. So I think that people have to take a step back and just realize like these are competitors. These are athletes. Like at the end of the day, they want to win. And they're going to do anything to win, period. And I just don't like how, because it's women, it's this notion that they can't be competitors. It's very irritating. And it also shows that people weren't truly watching the WNBA because it's been physical since 1997.
Yeah. Well, also, like, we have a 12-team league and you've got 140 of the best. Well, there's bound to be some crossover. I mean, you look at the top players ever, like they all won championships. They all played at similar schools. So like they cross a lot of roads together, right? Overseas too, before, this opportunity, of course. I think it's also like, it's based on and I think we're evolving. It was a turbulent year. I realize that, but I would like to think from a positive mindset, we're evolving. They're out of this turbulence phase. Let's watch ball like we'd watch ball anywhere else. And I think I'm hoping we get to that point. But yeah, I mean, and look, and like it's funny because like I talk to friends about this sometimes. I'm like, like Anthony Edwards to me is like the one guy who I watch now who's like, I'm going after you. And like I don't care if we're friends off the floor. And there's a lot of buddy now around the league. And like LeBron, I don't put this all on LeBron, but when LeBron went mobile and went from Cleveland to Miami, he made moving teams cool. Right. And like, so now players just kind of say it again.
Before him, it wasn't respected.
Yeah. He played in one place for 15 years. But I think those connect only because like now it's a recruitment. It's recruitment basically. Now we're seeing it with college sports with the NIL thing. Now it's just all about recruitment, but then it's like, we got games to play here too. Right. So, I think I would like to think we're going to move forward, and it was a turbulent year, but a lot of I think there's still a lot of positives too.
Go ahead, Nick.
With how good the Connecticut Sun season was, I know that it ended up, you guys lose to Minnesota in the semifinals. But what would you say what was your favorite moment of the 2024 season for Connecticut? Because I have one, and if we're not on the same page, I want to tell you mine.
Wow. Well, now I feel like you're going to stump me. That's because I probably know.
Right.
right. No pressure.
Okay, I'll give you one in the regular season.
Okay.
It was in July. Dwana Bonner I think she had 7 threes in a game. She was just on one that night. I love watching her play. She's so fun to watch. Her length, like I think Rakia Jackson is like on that same track. Rakia Jackson, I mean, that whole class, Caitlin, Angel, Aaliyah Edwards, Cameron Brink. I mean, it's loaded. And Rakia Jackson, to me, like slipping to 4. I think she slid to 4. I'm like,
she shouldn't have. She should have never slid that far.
Here we go.
now she'll be great
Now
in
go
Los
ahead,
Angeles.
tell her,
Like,
Jay.
good
Go ahead,
for
tell her where you
LA.
want her though.
Good market. But anyway, it's a side topic. Yeah, Rakia Jackson.
Yes.
She's going to be good in this league too. But
That's
I'm sure we'll get to that. So DB having that. Marina Mabry hit a huge shot against Indiana in the first round. Personal note, I got married on September 27th, which would have
my
been
birthday.
Okay. Great.
That's hilarious.
So that would have been
That's funny.
that night would have been game 3 of Indiana, Connecticut. So imagine me
Oh, wow.
with my fiance technically at the time, 2 days before we got married. And she was getting into it too, the whole playoff run. She's been very supportive. And it's like it's Wednesday night and we're in our little cottage by our arena or by our venue. By the venue, and I'm yelling and screaming at the TV because I'm like, if there's a game 3 Friday and I get married, I mean, I'm looking at it, and she's like, "You're gonna watch it on DVR, right?" And I said, "Yes, yes." And Marina hit that huge 3. I think Marina hit that 3 to put them up 4 with 4 minutes left or so. But I knew they won game 1, and in my head, I'm like, Indiana is going to bring it in game 2. Like I just love their mix, their young mix. And I'm like, this is going to be a game. This closeout game is going to be a game. And it was. So that was a moment for me. Marina hit that big 3. And I didn't call that, but it was like watching from afar. I'm like, that's big time. That's why they went out and got her to try to get him over the top. What's yours? Now I want to know what yours is.
Oh man,
Yeah,
what's mine?
I definitely want to know now.
I'm actually very surprised. I'm surprised that you didn't say the Dejanay seatbelt thing, the little click buckle up thing. Like,
Okay.
I think, to me, that was my favorite moment, honestly, and I think it's just an indication. Like, to me, Dejanay, she's one of my personal favorites to watch just because of how she competes on the defensive end. I think she's the best perimeter defenders in the league, and I think even this year you saw her evolution, not even just defensively, but just as a scorer, which is the reason why she won Most Improved Player, honestly. So that was my favorite moment. But I mean, the moments that you mentioned, I mean, especially Marina Mabry in that game 2, that was a huge shot, honestly, and it's the reason why they picked her up, in the trade. So I mean, there was a lot of good moments in Connecticut, so I'll give you that.
Yeah, Dejanay is she's a joy to watch, and I think she was a 2nd round pick. Her and Dana Evans were like the 2. Maybe I'm missing somebody. I apologize if I am. Those 2 players in the 21 draft. I mean, Dejanay was in the 2nd round. I think Dana may have been the end of the 1st or early 2nd, but Dejanay has fulfilled a role. And now, having talked to her down here, I think what she's hoping to get out of this experience at Unrivaled, especially in the 3-on-3 format, where you have to be able to play a role. Don't get me wrong, but you need to be. She wants to kind of get in her bag a little bit offensively and learning from someone like Phil Handy. She was super excited about landing with him, with Mist and him being the coach. Like, Phil spends a lot of time on the development side of things, and he's got a great resume with his time in the NBA with NBA stars. So yeah, for Dejanay is just now the consistency offensively. Young star, bright star, probably should have been an all-star. It was close, probably should have been an all-star, but now it's like, okay, can we take that 12 points a night? Can we get it to 15, 16, and can we do it every night? They're going to need that. They're going to need that from her. And look, a lot of these younger players, it takes, this rookie class overall might be an exception, but it takes like 3 or 4 years because 12-team league, 12 players a team. It's hard to get playing time in this league. It's so hard to crack a rotation when you play maybe 9, but most teams are playing 7, 8 a night. Hard to get playing time. And then when you go overseas, I don't think it's the same level of basketball, so it's kind of misleading. This, I'm very curious what players, especially your Ray Burrells and your Dejanays, and I don't know, I'd have to think of some more, but those 2 stick out to me. Like 20, 26, 27 years old. You've been kind of, Dejanay's a little bit more on a higher level right now than Ray as far as numbers and playing time, but like, what's it going to look like now after this in 2025, this summer? I'm very interested in that and how it translates, because I think it's going to help them, especially players like that. The stars are the stars. They'll be fine. But I mean, those kind of players.
Right.
I agree, because about your comment about Dejanay, I've talked about it at length in regards to how Connecticut kind of gets over that hump, because in 6 years they've been to the semifinals 4 times and the finals twice, and came up short. So one of the things I was saying is Dejanay has to take that from 12 points to at least, I would say 16 to 17 range, and just being more confident in her offensive abilities. So I didn't even think about her working with Phil Handy on a regular basis now that she's there, but I think that is going to be huge for her offensive development. I mean, you see Phil working with Juju Watkins and working on the women's side now too. So I think that'll be perfect for her.
The beauty, and I'm sure we'll get into it, but the beauty of this that I've come to find out just being here for a week and going to some practices and shoot arounds, you cannot hide in 3-on-3.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like if you play 5-on-5, if you're watching a W game and say a role player checks in for a brief stint, right? Just to give someone a rest or whatever. And that's not to knock on the players. That's just the reality. There are teams that have role players, and that's just how it goes. You can hide somebody if you need to for 4 or 5 minutes. In this 3-on-3, you're always moving, and you always have to be a threat to score or make plays on the defensive end. And because it's a smaller court and it's full court, like you have to be an impact player or you will get beat. So that fascinates me. And I'll be like all of you on Friday seeing the
Right. We saw how hard it was for our Olympic team to win on 3-on-3. So as soon as they announced Unrivaled, my first thoughts were a lot of people can get from this opportunity. Number one, of course, they get to stay home and make more money than they're probably making in the WNBA, which is great. But my thought was also they get to sharpen their skills because they're playing against some of the best players in the world. But more importantly, when you're playing 3-on-3, you have to have a bag to go score because, you know what I'm saying? Like you have to be able to get the ball in the bucket. And I think it'll help unlock a lot of people's offensive game. So like you said, Dejanay, I think it'll be great for Angel Reese as well, finishing through contact, finishing around the rim. So yeah, I think it's great. And so while we're on Unrivaled, talk about just how you kind of got this job with Unrivaled. Was it an interview process? Did they just see your work and decide to choose you? Like how did that go? And also what's been the most surprising thing to you since you've been there for this week so far?
So to answer your first one, a little bit of both. I had kind of been poking around at it just because I thought, this would be a cool opportunity. Had an interview with one of the folks that is in the front office. Went well. And it was a little bit of a period in between where I'm like, am I in? Am I out? And I didn't know. And then I got the call.
How'd that go?
It was late. I was actually coming back from a friend's bachelor party, and having not known yet, I was like, oh my God. So I was like laying in bed. It was like a Monday, a Veterans Day weekend. And then I got a phone call. And I'm like, you got it. And I'm like, oh, so I was back to life, which was awesome. What surprised me about it? That part, I mean, I'll admit that's taken me a few days to realize what I just said about the 3-on-3 thing. Like you just can't, everybody has to be super involved in every single play. The pace of it is, so it's going to be an 18-second shot clock. So, which, with a smaller court, if you break half court in 3 or 4 seconds, you still have enough time to run a legit set. But I think what I've come to find, you hear this phrase in basketball a lot, which is, let's let our defense fuel our offense, right? We get stops, get out and run, blah, blah, blah. But I'm finding it's almost the opposite in this. Like you have to take good shots. And when you say good shot, I mean, you can miss them, I think more now with the analytics being involved in the NBA, the 3-point shot. Like it's why, I live in Boston, right? Celtics take 53s a game, but they'll look at it and go, as long as we felt that almost nearly the 35 of the 50 were good shots, then we're okay with it. But if you don't take a good shot in this league, you will get beat. You will get beat the other way. So the pace of it is wow. It is fast. It is laser quick. So with that in mind, you can look at some of these teams, and I think they did a really good job of balancing these teams. I'm glad you brought up Angel because I think Angel with Chelsea Gray is going to be like a whoa, I think we've already seen it with Angel.
Yeah.
We know how dominant of a rebounder she is, but for her to take that next step offensively, having the point guard setting you up, that's going to be fun. Because look, in Chicago, they moved on from Kennedy Carter, more of a scoring first player. They really kind of had a rotating cast of point guards. So there was never really some flow for Angel. In my opinion, they felt for Angel to kind of get going. Plus, she had Cardoso trying to work her in. So health matters to all of this. So health aside, I think Angel having a multiple-time champion and Olympian at the point So I guess that's what surprised me. Is the overall landscape of seeing how the pieces fit. Ryan Howard and De'Erica Hamby were teammates in Paris, and we talked to Ryan about that a little bit. Like they feel they have a little bit of an upper hand. Now I know it's full court, not a half court 3-on-3, but they feel they have an upper hand of just communication, how they're going to work under screens, or hey, I got help side here. Just having that familiarity. So it's kind of a chess match here early on.
Yeah.
And then just from the logistics side of it, and you kind of said this, Lo, they're being so well taken care of, and they genuinely appreciate it. They're so I think when you watch the videos that you're seeing on Instagram or Twitter or whatever it may be, it filters through. Like you can feel the buzz, and then when you actually see it, the amount of folks, and Brianna Stewart, we talked to her for a little bit, and she couldn't help but keep continuing to harp on this. There are so many people behind the scenes that are making this happen. And it's amazing when you walk in and around here, like the amount of folks that are making them feel like the money's the money. Don't get me wrong. I mean, that's a big part of it. And they're staying in the United States, and they don't have to, they're not going overseas, but they feel they're being treated like stars. And I think the way that you'll all see on Friday, I mean, the arena is awesome. From what you can or have seen of it, it's going to be a show. It feels like a nightclub. Like if you have one of those 100, if you have one of those 850 seats to these games, you're walking into like a nightclub for, you're in the cool section to come watch these women play. So
now the women, you mentioned that the women are, and like you said, you can kind of feel how good it feels for them to actually be treated like professional athletes. So from a play-by-play standpoint, do you feel the difference between, how, not how you're treated, but just like the maybe amenities that you have there versus Unrivaled right now? Have you seen a difference from your standpoint, just for you, not in regards to the players?
Yeah, I mean, having the backing of TNT and working with some of those folks, I mean, a lot of the production will be done by folks at Unrivaled. It's world class. It's first class. When you have a TV deal of that magnitude, and they're taking this seriously, and I think that's something too from a branding standpoint. And I give Unrivaled credit. They've allowed the players to dive into the weeds about their free agency. And
yes, they did.
what's going on? I mean, that's out there. And at first, I'm like,
yes, it is.
Now,
yeah,
look,
during the press conferences, I was shocked.
I'm purely speaking as a media guy. Okay, I'm like, they're allowing this. Like, this is like, so I always a little taken back by it. Like, they're completely leaning in. But I think what they're making very clear is this is not an off-season league. Like, they plan to be around for a very, very long time. And you've already seen the list of investors, and it continues to grow. Like, they are all in on this. So shout out to Nafisa and Brianna Stewart and all the players deserve credit, but those two, what they've done behind the scenes to put this on the floor. Alex Bezell, Nafisa's husband, who's the president, Luke Cooper, it's unbelievable what they're doing. So yes. So to answer your question, I feel very supported, and we feel part of it. When we show up to shoot, like it was kind of what you asked me off the top, when you're going to shoot arounds, and there is a comfort level when you've covered them at a pro level. I don't cover Ryan Howard or Kalia Copper the same as I cover Alyssa Thomas. I've just been around the sun more. So, but you're reminded at a national level, and I got a whole spiel on this. I mean, when we call WNBA games, and when we call the Sun, and we take pride in being a great team. When you call games in a 12-team league, and when you call a game, say, for example, our game gets picked up on NBA TV or Amazon or CBS Sports Network, right? Or we're doing the Ion game, and most Ion shows are using the local announcers. In my mind, I'm like, the WNBA is not even 30 years old yet. This league is not big enough yet. And that's not to say it's not well followed. I mean, it's not big enough yet where we can just kind of we can just call this game 80% Sun, and then, we'll leave the other team off to the side. I realize that when people watch our home games, they're getting that feed on League Pass. We've got to bring everybody up, and we've got to give them their proper due. Now, this stage on TNT at this kind of intimate setting, people are going to learn about these players, and we're going to call it right. So that makes the job, in my opinion, I love a good game. That's how I look at it. It makes it a little easier because it's like We're calling that. We're calling missed. We're calling owls, and they're going to battle. Let's see what happens. So, the stage is different. I mean, of course, they've had games on ESPN and CBS has done games for the W, but this is going to be a whole new audience. I think it might not be. It's going to be a lot of parallels, but I think the TNT backing their experience with basketball, as you all well know, I'm looking forward to that. So, be good.
Facts. One of my favorite things from Unrivaled this season is the one-on-one matchup. So my question to you is, how exciting?
Don't ask me to pick who's going to win, please.
I'm not going to ask that. No. Like, my question is,
because they'll start finding me here. I'm trying to stay on everyone's good side.
No, I'm good. You're good, man. But my question was, how exciting would that be for the new league, and how do you think it'll elevate these players in these matchups?
I mean, they're all so dug in about this. Like, talked about Ryan Howard. Enrique's her teammate. And I've another thing I've surprised me. You asked me what surprised me. I've had like 80 things pop in my mind just watching 3 days of shoot-arounds and practices. And you guys could disagree. And this is no knock at Satu Sabali at all. I just think they're different players. I don't think Enrique has ever played with a player like Ryan Howard in her career. Like another dynamic, ball-centric scoring piece. Alicia Gray has turned into that, but Alicia was still pretty young. I'm saying like right now, where they both are in their careers, Enrique and Ryan, I would argue are two favorites to win this thing, and they're teammates. So that, back and forth is fun, seeing them on the same team. But yeah, I mean, like they get a chance for some bragging rights. And I think it's, having talked to, and Lisa Leslie, by the way, is amazing. I mean, I feel like I've known Lisa now for 2 months and I've only known her for 3 days.
That's awesome.
Which is great.
That's awesome.
And I'm excited about working with her. She was super nice. Like you wouldn't know, like she's a multi-time champion, multi-time MVP. I'm just saying, like here, there's Lisa Leslie, like just talking to me, like I'm just one of her friends from forever. But
right.
Lisa believes that, and she'd say this too. Like Lisa said that, this one-on-one thing I think is going to be emulated in the men's game. For sure. Like, I think that's the kind of attention it will garner. But yeah, they all want that bag. That's for sure. They all want that. And I think that's going to be great back to your point about being competitors and seeing that at that level is going to be a lot of fun. And you get to see different kind of skill sets, right? I think the guards in an up and down nature and the actual games, I think guards have a little bit of an upper hand. Conditioning is going to be very important in this league. As a big, if you're Alyssa Thomas taking it to the rack, I mean, good luck guarding that. If you're pick whatever guard you want. So that'll be interesting from a one-on-one standpoint, but being able to shoot and your quickness, that's why I think Enrique and Ryan they've already been outspoken about this. This is nothing new, but those two come to mind as far as players that could be. And I love watching Kalia Copper play too. I mean, I could talk about all of them, but it's gonna be good. It's good. It's good competition. It's something we've never seen before at a serious level. And that prize money is no joke.
No,
absolutely.
Right.
Who do you guys like to win it?
I just want to see the Jewel versus Skylar matchup for certain reasons. Everybody knows the whole saga.
Oh my God!
Seattle.
Right.
I gotta see it. Man.
Bro.
He's not even going. That's right. Look away, Brendan. Don't entertain that.
I'm just giving them my favorite matchup that I want to see. I'm just telling them.
I mean, that's real.
Yeah.
To be honest, I want to see it in general because you're going to see how competitive these women really are. And I think one-on-one brings the competitive nature out of anyone. So I'm just glad that they're doing it because a lot of people like to, duck the smoke. So in this kind of format, you can't. And you're right. I think that the guards have an advantage. But the ones that can get out there and go get their shot, like an Enrique, like a Cobb, those are the ones that I think that have the better chance at winning.
I think one of the more
I would say Enrique for sure.
Yeah, I think one of the more underrated players that might have a chance at winning is Jackie Young. I think she's expanded her offensive game a lot, especially over the past couple of years.
Jackie, just from her team standpoint, I think there's a lot more being asked now of Jackie. A little different when you're not playing with Kelsey Plum and Asia Wilson.
True.
and Chelsea Gray. But
Mhm.
again, that's like, and that's no knock. It's like that's what I mean. Like there's an opportunity for Jackie Young to find out a little bit more about herself, right? With
Mhm.
other stars, but now, okay, and she can score. Don't get me wrong. I mean, like you're playing you're not getting as many shots. You play with Asia Wilson. Sorry, like you're just not, right?
Yeah.
So that's what
Right.
that's what I'm so curious about how the pieces fit and how players make the most of their opportunities.
Yeah.
You got anything, Jay?
I was gonna. I definitely drew a blank. Damn, what I was about to ask you. I definitely forgot what I was about to ask you. I was looking. Oh my goodness.
I'll
forgive
go
me
while you're
on that.
thinking.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
This what happens. This what happens when you get older, man. This what happens. Your memory starts to fade. I'm just joking. This has nothing to do with Unrivaled. It's just a women's basketball question in general. We kind of do it with all the guests that come on here, and it's basically like build your perfect WNBA player, right? So I'm going to give you a few skills, and I just want you to name which player has that skill set that you would utilize in that case. So the first one is vision. Which player would you use for vision if you're creating a player?
Do I have to pick a lunar owl because of owls and their vision?
I like that. That was funny. That's a dad joke. You right on your way.
Definitely a dad joke.
No, all right. I was gonna try that Friday. Maybe I won't do it anymore. All right, you guys laughed a little bit. Vision. Chelsea Gray.
Okay. Basketball IQ.
Nafisa Collier.
Okay. Defense.
Can I say Nafisa Collier again?
Now, it doesn't have to be just anyone at Unrivaled. It can be, but Nafisa is a great defender. I mean, God.
Yeah.
It can be
that's a good
anyone
choice.
in the
No,
WNBA.
but you know what? I'll give you another one. Stewie. Brianna Stewart.
Okay. Good choice. We have shooting.
Who is my favorite shooter? Or that's not what you're asking. When I think shooting, I'll tell you what. You're stumping me with these. There's a lot of good options.
It's hard. It is hard.
I think it's a big. Just this is me. Say I didn't even work. Say I wasn't even doing the Unrivaled games, and I was looking from afar. It's a big winter for Jewel Lloyd, but I love the way she shoots the ball. And I think she's got a great. I know Gold Mamba. She emulates a lot of Kobe. It's a big winter for Jewel. I think Jewel's on like kind of a. It's not really a revenge tour, but I think Jewel. She didn't have a great year.
It is.
She didn't have a great year. Now I know there's a lot going on off the floor, so I don't want to. I'm not sure if that had an impact on it. Okay, but just talking numbers, like one of her worst percentages of her career. I think Jewel back with Stewie. I think there's a little bit of a chip on Jewel, but I love the way when Jewel's going, she's tough. Arike too. I've watched Arike and Mohegan like put on a show, and I'm like, damn, like but shooting but a pure shooter. Like Jewel's a scorer. Arike's a scorer. Pure shooter. Oh my God. I mean, Lexi Hull's got a good shot too. Lexi Hull, I mean, Marina Mabry. Look out for Dejanay too. Dejanay's threes look better than I've ever seen it. Okay, I got to pick one though. I'll say Lexi Hull.
Okay, we got three more. Handle / dribbling.
Arike.
I like that.
Rebounding.
That's a definitely great answer right there.
Yes.
Yep.
Look,
rebounding.
I don't think it's Angel Reese.
Yeah, definitely. Generational rebounder, bro.
Generational, yo, like different.
I've never seen anything like it.
I think what's most impressive to me are the offensive rebounds. Especially later in the, she put together, what was it, 13 consecutive games with a double-double, I think it was. You know it's coming and you can't stop it. Like that when you're mentioning these traits, like Angel, throw two bodies on her, throw three, it don't matter. But like that, I know we've heard this word a lot with her, relentless, but works. She really works and she's smart. It's not just a matter of being tall and getting up there to grab the ball. It's feeling out where you are on the floor, where the defenders are, and then finding position. Yeah, Angel Reese. It's going to be a problem in this league for the other team. I'm telling you.
No, she is.
I'm glad you said that about rebounding because I saw a lot of tweets this summer saying that rebounding wasn't important. And I'm like, what basketball are y'all watching? A lot of people on Twitter.
You don't want to know.
Like, it was insane. I was like, excuse me, rebounding, one of the hallmark skills of basketball, is no longer impressive.
Come on now. Like, if we're going to talk about, so just to play that game, right? So Michael Jordan won a lot of championships. Dennis Rodman's not getting that many boards, changes the whole flow of a game for the Chicago Bulls.
Absolutely.
Right? I've heard the Dennis Rodman comps with Angel as far as rebounding is concerned.
Yes.
I think they're very similar.
Yeah.
Someone just commented, control the boards, control the game. It's 1,000% true. Because it's like, if you play, it's a lot like other sports. Like if you play hockey or let me think, like hockey or even like, so I told you I did some lacrosse. If you continue to repossess, so the offense, talk about offensive rebound, you continue to repossess the ball, you're wearing out the other team. You're wearing them out. In this league, that will matter. Like possessions will matter, especially with shorter quarters. The games aren't as long. I think that's pretty out there. Like that particular element for this league, Unrivaled, that's a huge component. Huge component.
Right. Like you're wearing them out, but you're also getting more shot opportunities. Like
that
so
too.
That's why I was like, you guys are just making things up at this point. All right. And the last one is just overall athleticism.
Overall athleticism.
Yeah.
That is a good. Who got the best?
I know, that's what I'm thinking. Like, who's the most athletic in the WNBA?
So the question really is,
that's the question you don't see all the time. Man, that's a.
You know, or I'll give you one.
No, that's a good one.
I'll give you one.
Go ahead.
Brittany Sykes.
Absolutely, I agree. She's athletic as hell.
Brittany Sykes. I love Brittany Sykes. I'm a Syracuse person, so I'm biased. I love Brittany Sykes. I love how she plays. I love how she competes. Yeah, Brittany Sykes.
Oh, I like us. I see people saying Ka. I see
people saying that crossed my mind. Yep.
I forget about her. I don't think about her like that aspect. I always think about her scoring all the time, but that is a good one. That is a good one.
Insane. So I mean, that
really.
Do you approve my choices? I was curious.
I do. You did. That was great. That was great.
Yeah, we approve. Yeah, we definitely didn't make it seem like we did. We definitely approved though. This is what I wanted to ask you. I definitely want to know.
You remember it now? Okay.
Yes, I do it. Don't do me like that. You've been there just good. I know Unrivaled is unique because it's 3-on-3. It's a shorter, it's full court, the dimensions are smaller, but do you ever think this is going to ever turn into a 5-on-5 thing? Or do you just want to keep the uniqueness of the 3-on-3?
I don't know. I mean, they've taken pride in being different, but you know what? When you talk to these coaches, so sure you've all noticed, you've read up on who they are. I mean, most we know, like, so Nola Henry works for the Dallas Wings, worked under Kurt Miller. Andrew Wade's worked for the Mystics, and Teaspoon is Teaspoon, the only former player coaching. And then you've got guys like Handy, DJ Sackman, and then Adam Harrington, who have skill development backgrounds. Talking to DJ Sackman, who's the head coach of Lunar Owls, he had a really good observation. He thinks in 3-on-3 for the development side of the sport and for these athletes in their, to actually play games and compete, but also to improve, like to emphasize improvement and development. As I think I've said this a couple times now, but like in 3-on-3, you can find out a lot more about yourself in terms of what you bring to the table. So you have that component, which is the basketball on the court answer. And then from a league perspective, from a marketing standpoint and all of it, I think they're really leaning into being different and being something that we've never seen before. So I don't know the answer to your question. I want to see what it looks like first, but
yeah.
I think the brand of basketball is still basketball. Don't get me wrong. Like,
for sure.
But from an entertainment standpoint and it being the best of the best playing, that's good stuff. That's schoolyard stuff.
It is.
That is going to have some. There's going to be cohesion will come with each team as they play more games. But the chess match is like there's more of a microscope. Like I said, you can't hide in 3-on-3. It's going to be fascinating to watch.
Absolutely.
So
I will say at first, like it seemed like the rollout was taking forever during the summertime and leading up to now. But when they started diving in heavy into the content and doing this major rollout, doing all the announcements, to announce you guys and everything, and just been going off. It's just like I've been so excited. All of us been excited. At first, we was done with it. We're just ready for it to start, and now we're here, and they're going to start on Friday. So I'm like, I'm just cannot wait to see how this is going to be. And we saw, like, I don't know, somebody posted scrimmages for tonight, so I could definitely see what you were talking about with the guards. Like guards was putting people in blenders. Like it's not like, and I get like they're probably first time doing a full game, but I know it's a scrimmage, but seeing that has got me really amped up to watch these games. And I didn't know, I think you said earlier, is only 850 people going to be in the crowd?
That's how many seats there are. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I did not know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it'll be a very intimate setting. Which will be like that's why I said it's like a nightclub. Like it's exclusive. It'll be. I mean, you guys will see it, and the crew. I can't give away too much, but the crew, the way the broadcast will present it, you'll see every angle of the place. It's going to be fascinating. It's going to be great. And like I said, there's so much excitement around the office when you go in, and everyone's been super welcoming. And yeah, I mean, and from standpoints like Nafisa and Brianna and Alex Bezel, I mean, they've been digging at this for a number of years now. So can't wait to get it going.
We've been posting about it and talking about it, and people are asking. Like my wife said, she's like, they're doing 3-on-3, like they doing full court. People are asking. And I'm like, man, this is going to be amazing. And I feel like you said, it's getting more eyes on women hoops, like it should, and they should know these players. And the fact, like today, they announced like the watch parties they're gonna have at these 7 cities for all the games. That's huge. That's a huge thing. Like you could just go pop up with you.
Yeah, this is no break. What now? Sorry, I was just going to say, I was going to add to that. This is no breaking news. You can just go look at I've been overwhelmed being here because I'm just trying to get all settled and whatnot. But then I started thinking about the weekend. I'm like, okay, Friday, Saturday. We're in the afternoon on Saturday. We wanted to avoid the NFL playoff games. The way they strategized the schedule, I thought was really smart. They're going to be done before March Madness starts, men's and women's. Also, I think Mondays. I mean, I've said this about other pro leagues that are trying to grow, and I'm like, Monday, outside of maybe if you have your alma mater in college is playing on Big Monday, and after the football season, I mean, Mondays are there to take control of. So I thought it was awesome when they said Monday was. So they just started. I could be wrong on this, but in my years with the Sun, I'm like, why are there not any Monday games? Like own. I know summer's tough. It is tough. This past year was tough with the Olympics. I get it. Own Monday. Monday is such a. Everyone's getting home from the beach. They're doing their weekend thing, whatever. It's like Monday. Own the Monday. Monday, smart.
I like that. That is true.
MLK Day is next week. So there's an NBA doubleheader on TNT leading into Unrivaled. Celtics Warriors is at 5. I'm a Celtics guy. I've already looked. I'm honest. Okay. The Celtics are here twice in Miami. I'm poking around at the NBA schedule. Who could I go see on an off day? Celtics are here in February, and then they're here in March. But I looked and I saw the schedule today, and I'm like, oh. Because in my mind, I thought, the NBA, I feel like, always has MLK Day games on TNT always has MLK Day games.
Absolutely.
So I think it's Memphis and Minnesota at 2 or 2:30. Goes right to Celtics at Warriors, and then that will lead into Candace, Renee Montgomery, and the crew for Unrivaled. So what a great lead-in for Monday.
Absolutely.
That's great. So I thought that was a smart play by the schedule.
Yes,
that's very smart.
These Lauren's thoughts and not Brendan's. The WNBA needs to take notes in regards to the scheduling, because that's one of the things that we've consistently been saying. Why are there no Monday games? Like, it just seems, like I don't want to say common sense because I know it's things in the background that we necessarily don't know that, goes on with the scheduling and stuff like that. But I think the good part about Unrivaled is they're putting themselves in a position to succeed. They're putting themselves in a position so that people can watch. And another thing is, with so many eyes on just the WNBA in general now, one of the issues that I hear from people that haven't previously watched is it's hard to find the games. I have to go to Amazon Prime. I got to go to a damn app. I got to go to Ion on Fridays. Like, I like how it's just TNT and what is it, TBS or what is it?
True TV.
Is it just TNT?
True TV.
True TV.
On Saturdays.
True TV. Like, so we know, hey, these games will be here. You can access them through cable. You can just access them. And so I think it's very important. And I think that I just hope that the powers that be in the WNBA are looking at this. And I hope that Unrivaled succeeds in this so that it can be carried over potentially to the WNBA. Again, these are my thoughts.
Yeah, I think something else too is they're not going to cross over too much with women's college or men's college, no matter what kind of basketball or NBA games. That's why I think the TNT build, there are a lot of games on Tuesdays, a lot of games on Thursdays in the NBA. They can cross promote. Hey, come, Thursday night. It's, how much power there is in Ernie, Kenny, Shaq, and Charles just doing a quick minute or two, just promoting the next night. Like, that will be very helpful. And I'm talking in-game, inside the NBA. You could feel it too, Lo, when Nafisa was giving out so this at the time, I didn't know I had the job. I'm like watching like everyone else is. And I'm like, Nafisa's giving out these hints. She's doing these videos. I think at one point she was in her car and she was answering questions. And she's like, we are on TV and it's a linear TV deal. But no, you speak to an excellent point. I mean, so when I do the Sun, I've grown comfortable enough to, like, within reason, speak out a bit on stuff like this. And I'm like, there was a situation where the Sun played, we had the Aces on Ion on a Friday night. At the same time, Minnesota was playing Indiana. This is later in the year, so Indiana had figured it out. Minnesota, great team. Vegas, reigning champs, finals rematch from 2 years ago. Our game was the local. Again, don't even ask me what that means. I don't really get it. We were the local. No, I'm serious. We were the local Ion show. So I don't even know how to describe it. Most folks, even my parents who would DVR the games, they're in New England. They're in Boston area. If they went to their DVR on Xfinity, the game they were going to get on Ion. This is a New Englander. So if in theory, a lot of Connecticut Sun fans are in New England, right? And we're on NBC Sports Boston. The game in the channel guide was Minnesota, Indiana. So I'm like, well, that's not local. So how are they going to find the game? So the way they kind of met in the middle with it was, well, if your game is not on Ion or you can't get it on the Ion National, you can get it on League Pass. In my mind, I'm like, doesn't that defeat the purpose? That defeats the purpose. Like, the whole idea is to have it accessible on TV. And it's a weird time, as you all know, like now with everything going digital, the NFL's got games on Netflix now, right? So you got to play. And by the way, shout out, HBO Max is going to have all Unrivaled games. So you still appease the streaming people. But yeah, accessibility to the games was a huge. You could feel it in Nafisa's voice when she kind of hinted at what they were planning. Yeah, I mean, in another Connecticut example, it wasn't last minute, but the Sun, we had one of the best. So actually, Nick, I'll give you another one as far as one of my favorite moments of the year. We had a game at TD Garden in Boston. That was really special for me, having grown up watching a guy like Mike Gorman call games for as long as he did, doing Big East games, doing Celtics games. I looked up to Mike. That was the guy when I was 10, 11 years old, trying to figure out, that's such a fun job. That sounds awesome. So being courtside at the Garden for a WNBA game, and they sold the building out. LA, of course, and it wasn't Indiana. It wasn't Angel. It wasn't Caitlin. It was, and Cameron Brink was hurt, and they still banged the game out. They sold the building out, which proves people. I think at a local level, people in New England, people in Boston love their basketball. That's what that felt like. But our game, we were only on NBC Sports Boston and League Pass. We weren't even on. Now, selfishly, I'm happy I got to call the game. So I will say that part I didn't mind. But from a national standpoint, that game was not available on, like, at the very least, it wasn't even on NBA TV.
Right.
It wasn't on CBS Sports. Now, they had been planning that game since the previous offseason. It wasn't a surprise. So I'm imagining this year it will be on national TV. So hopefully I get to do it. We'll see.
One would hope. One would hope that.
Yeah, but like
seriously.
it's little things like that, though, and I get it to a degree, because I think, again, what we're finding out about this brand of basketball, women's basketball, they're playing a lot of catch up. And speaking to your point about the investment in the W, you got to build your staff out. Kathy's got to get more folks helping her out, get more support. If you keep just doing it the way you were doing it, you're going up against too much. They've got to really sink their teeth into the whole thing. And that's a great point you made, though, about the games being on TV, as I don't care what anybody says. Coming up, and Stephanie White, now the head coach at Indiana, and I love Steph. I'm excited for her. She was awesome to work with. She does television as well, doing the NBA, doing some college games. Steph has brought this up before. When you came out of the bubble for both WNBA, college to it wasn't really a bubble, but you know what I mean? Like, just that whole thing. They started finally putting WNBA games and women's college basketball games on linear television, where you could find the games and you could watch Paige Beckers in South Carolina and then watch Angel against Caitlin. How would people so I use this comp, like Sabrina Ionescu was a star at Oregon. If Sabrina Ionescu is going to be playing on Pac-12 network at 10 o'clock at night Eastern time, and I don't mean to be East Coast bias or anything, but you're kind of burying your star. How are you going to find her? So
Juju last year.
That's another good one. They had Paige against Juju on, or they had UConn USC on Fox this year. Fox, not FS1 or FS2. Fox.
Yeah.
So I think a big part of why, you have Caitlin's career, the ascension of Caitlin doing what she was doing. You've got Angel. You got that rookie class, generally speaking. You've got that road, and then you've got the road of finally putting the games where people can see them. It garnered that appropriate attention. Like, I think that's a huge part of it. Like, having the games accessible to folks is a huge reason why this past year, or even 2 years ago, why the college game exploded. No one would have been able to see Caitlin against Angel, or Caitlin games, or Angel games, whatever games. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, that's a huge component of if that avenue or that vehicle wasn't there, who's to say that Caitlin Clark wouldn't have been the same as Sabrina? Because Sabrina was putting up triple doubles and shattering records too, right? So huge part of it, huge. And that goes back to just investment and a plan. So
I agree, because especially when people go back and really look at it, Caitlin, her freshman year, she was averaging 25, 26 points. Like, her stats are the same almost every year. And the main difference is Paige got hurt. And so they started to look for another person, like, who can be the face of this college basketball thing, right? And so once that kind of happened, people start paying a little bit more attention, because, like you said, her game started to be televised. When she started shooting, the logo threes, when I was telling people, like, she's been doing that since she was a freshman in college. No one watched because it wasn't anywhere that you couldn't. You couldn't
right.
watch,
if anything, you're getting a viral video on social, and that's how maybe you gravitated towards it, and that's fine. That's great. If you're a true fan and you're invested in it, that's one thing. But that is kind of the ecosystem we're in now with media. Is people just watch clips of stuff, and I guess I get it to a degree. But folks that want to watch the 40 minutes or the 48 minutes, they want to watch games. But you got to be able to find them.
Yeah.
So. And look, hey, I think we're heading in that direction with NBC and Amazon coming down the pipeline, right? That's going to be huge. And then this with TNT it's a great vehicle. So I know a long time coming, but yeah, putting the game somewhere where they're accessible. I mean, there's a reason, like, before Unrivaled and even Athletes Unlimited, which I've done some work with them, and they had some deals. Like, there's a reason why they were going overseas. They were getting paid well, and clearly Europe figured it out a long time ago. You know what I mean? Like, in terms of investment, take TV out of it, just investment, period. Women's sports in America, until recently, like I said, they're playing catch up. It was never properly invested in.
Yeah.
Across the board. That's just, so now it's a game of catch up. And I get, you got to you got to lean on stars. That's a big part of it now. The landscape, any league, any sport, you got to lean on stars. But yeah, you got to be able to find the games. Got to be able to find them. So it's good. It's better.
Man,
It's going better.
this has been amazing. Like you really fit in with us. Like this, what's it? What'd you say? My fault.
I was saying it's a great episode.
Oh, this has been fun. Like we just love talking hoops, and you've been just giving us real answers. But before we get up out of here, though, I've been seeing you in your suits, and I've been seeing you wearing your sneakers. So like I like wearing, like I get the sneakers with the suits and everything like that. But I want to know, what is your favorite sneaker to wear with your suits?
See, Jay, I came prepared. I brought my sneaker out. This is my Air Force One. I put them right here. I go, when's he going to ask me? I was almost going to be disappointed if you didn't ask me this question, but yeah, I got these Nike Air Force Ones. Now, I take so much pride in these because they're white, so I need to keep them clean.
Yes.
So if I keep them clean and I'm wearing them, like, yeah, they're going to be my favorite because I have to put so much time into keeping them clean. So I'm glad you asked. I was getting worried you wouldn't, but yeah, they're right here.
I got you, man. Listen, look, no, because the reason I don't like it, I feel like now it's just.
Oh,
like
you're against the sneaker suit thing.
No.
Okay.
I am when it comes to certain sneakers. Like people put anything with it. I'm like, man, listen. Like I get it. You want to be comfortable. You're doing media. You're gonna be in your feet all day. But I feel like every sneaker don't go with every suit. That's just my thing. Cause I love sneakers. Like I will wear sneakers. Like my wife tried to get me to wear sneakers with my suits all the time. I'd be like, no, I'm gonna wear my dress shoes or whatever. I'm gonna wear my suit. But certain sneakers, like I'll do like Air Max or I'll do like some Dunks. I like lows. I don't like doing high tops with suits. So like you picking the Air Force Ones was perfect. That was perfect for me.
The Forces.
Yeah, there is a struggle there. You're right because they don't all fit. So I will go between the two like you do. My wife will tell me like, don't do that. That doesn't work. And I'll go, okay. So I do. She kind of helps me. It's funny. You should have seen me packing my suitcase coming down here. She's like, this goes with this. This goes with this.
Yes.
Don't try that.
Yes.
I'm like, okay, understood.
Yes. Absolutely.
You want to look good, feel good. Like, but I am
absolutely
it's one of the most just doing games and even at home. I'm like one of the most stressful things is like getting out an outfit. I'm like, oh my God, just please just tell me what do you think? Does this tie work? Does this shirt work with it? And when she hesitates, I go, nope, I'm going back to the closet.
Yeah.
Say yes.
Yeah.
If it's not an immediate yes, go ahead and go back to the closet.
Yeah, I turn around like, oh, that ain't it? Okay, I'm gonna go.
I've known you long
check
enough.
this out.
Like, yeah. I'm like, no, that wasn't a good yeah. Yes. So
you are absolutely right. But man, this has been a fun episode, like I said before, and we really appreciate you coming through.
Yeah,
man, you was giving us some real insight and just explaining, just being real, talking to us, man. You wasn't giving us like, I don't feel like just like rehearsed answers. Like you just knew, like you felt comfortable, and that's what we want you to feel like when you come visit us. And we're gonna have you back here again. Don't worry about that.
Okay,
you're gonna be here again.
I can
man,
share.
like,
I'll tell you this. I can share a lot more. Like the rest of you, I'm going to be watching this weekend for the first time, like all of you. But having a weekend of games will be helpful for all of us, just to get a feel for what's going on, right? And it's we're here for 10 weeks, and who knows what week one might look like, and then what will look like in week two. So the backing of the Unrivaled people in the front office, and also the TNT, like we have to, it's a TV cliche, but you have to walk before you run. Like there's going to be a lot of stuff that we want to put on a A+ show, and it's going to be great. There might be things we do differently in week two than we did in week one. Right. So it's a lot. There's a lot of stuff to still work out as far as what it's going to look like, but working with Lisa Leslie, Roz was here over the weekend. She's fantastic. Getting a chance to know, I mean, I've known her, but we never really met in person. So that was cool. And then Sarah Kustok, who does Nets games, she's fantastic. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. It's gonna be a blast.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to go Saturday.
Come March.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, so sorry. Did you just say you're coming down here?
Yeah, we're definitely trying to get out there for March.
I was gonna say. I mean, I was gonna ask that. You're all gonna come down here, right?
Yeah, we're definitely trying to get down there in March for sure.
Okay.
Definitely.
Right.
I'm definitely going to go to the to the watch party on Saturday. I asked my wife, did she know about the bar? I think it's called Whiskey Girl Bar here in Chicago. She ain't never been, so we're going Saturday to watch both games there. I'm gonna get the pulse of people there. I'm gonna ask them questions and just feel the atmosphere because I love that they're doing this. This is something that they need. Hopefully, the W would do something like this or try to get a partnership like this to have watch parties. I know it's gonna be harder to do every game because it's not condensed like this.
Yep.
Yeah, but at least something, playoff game, do something. Some of the big matches during the regular season. So I'm excited. Like you said, we're gonna have more information.
Yeah, I didn't
this
even think of
weekend.
that.
We definitely gonna have you back.
Sorry, I didn't even think of that when you just said that. As far as I don't think the W has ever done something like that, like a watch part. That's really it's fascinating. It's good. It'll be good. And hopefully it grows in terms of the watch party accessibility.
Yeah,
cool.
I'm definitely gonna go to that bar a couple times just to see how it grows. Because I know probably Saturday it may be a lot of people, it may not, but as it get more legs and just keep going throughout the season, I'm definitely gonna check back up to that bar and see what's going on.
Bars, restaurants are a great word of mouth marketing tool.
It is.
When we go, I'm not sure if you guys have ever been to Mohegan Sun in Connecticut, but they're obviously the arena is in the Mohegan. So they understand that if someone say for example, the Sun played at 7 and we played I'm not a player. I don't like the we thing. They play Atlanta and then the Sparks are playing the Aces after. They'll get the game on. They'll usually have the games on. But yeah, I've seen that, right? Where it's like you try to go to places and get the game on, and more places I think are being more aware of that. Sure. But
for sure, I definitely saw this summer.
Go ahead,
Lo.
Go ahead, Jay.
No, I was gonna say I definitely saw this summer with the games being televised here at bars, especially here in Chicago. Angel just took on the pulse of the city, so it was like I was there. She helped, like you said, players like that will help the game grow.
Yep.
But it was just to seeing at the bars, like it used to be before, like you had to ask somebody to put on a WNBA game, or they'd be like, "What? We're not gonna turn that on." Like they really will look at you like that, or there'd be one TV somewhere you're not even sitting, or you're not even gonna be able to find it. But now going to bars and they'd be on different TVs, 3-4 different TVs they'd be on, especially if Kaylin's on for sure. You know how that goes, but I just love seeing how that's happening now, and now TNT is doing it. So hopefully the W will start getting those watch parties in the bars and stuff.
And the beauty of this is no one's ever seen this before. 3-on-3, full court, best players in the world. I don't care if it's men's or women's. No one's ever seen this product. So I think there is an opportunity to just for casual basketball fans to get a taste of this. And I'm willing to bet when this game is, when this is on this weekend, no matter where you are, you're going to look at it and go, whoa, what is that? That's different. And that goes back to what I was saying before about Unrivaled is really taking a pride and focus and being a different viewing experience. So yeah, it'll be cool.
Yes. You had something to say, Lo, before we got up out of here, or?
No, you pretty much said it. I'm good.
Okay. All right. Before we get out of here, Brendan. Oh, go ahead. You got something to say, Nick?
Yeah, I was saying I can't believe we're finally here though. I mean, we've been talking about Unrivaled for the last 6-7 months, and now we're actually
we're here.
You're telling me I'm antsy to start. That's the hardest part as a broadcaster. It's the day of a game. Say it's a 7 o'clock or a 7:15 tip, and when you're there in that arena at 5:15, you're like, okay, let's go. Let's tip the ball. Come on, let's go.
Imagine.
Yeah, that's how we're gonna be.
I think everybody.
We're actually doing it.
So
we're actually doing a watch party on playback on Friday for both games. So that's gonna be fun. So it's always a good time in our watch parties for that. Just to give.
Yeah, I'm kidding.
Oh, we definitely will. We definitely are. You've been fun, man. You've been fun. You're actually our first male guest. We never had a male in here before, so this has been fun for sure. But before we leave, tell everybody where they can find you so they can follow you, get all your good takes, maybe some bad takes. Who knows?
Yeah, there's more bad. I mean, most takes are bad. Then you're lucky to hit a good batting average, 300, get it 3 or 4 right out of 10. I'm at Brendan Glasheen on Twitter, X, and then Instagram, BJ_Glash is where you can find me.
And we will definitely put all your information in the description of everything that's going to be uploaded to. So, and
then I used to have one, but you guys were talking about this off the top of the show about the investment it takes to like be on content every day. Like I used to have a TikTok, and so I might be in some TikToks on Unrivaled. I was in a TikTok with Lisa Leslie the other day. I was like, "What is this?" I
definitely saw it.
I felt like the LeBron meme when he's in the pool and he's like, "I can't believe this is my life."
This is my life.
So
Oh
Lisa, Roz, they've been pushing the TikTok presence. So I will happily be a guest. So stay tuned for that. See how that goes.
All right, perfect.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Y'all heard it here first. He's going to be doing the TikTok dances on.
Yes, with his suits and Air Force Ones, they're gonna be doing his TikTok dances for sure. Definitely. Again, Brendan, this was fun, man. I appreciate you. I appreciate everybody who's been in the chat all this time from YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, Twitter. It's been fun. Man, what else I got for you?
Thank you guys for having me. This was fun.
For sure. Good luck on Friday for doing. You got 2 games. I mean, I'm pretty sure you're used to this, but it's like you got 2 games you got to do. So I know. Good luck to that, man. We're gonna be listening and rooting for you. Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, this was fun. I like chopping it up, just talking shop about the industry and the sport itself. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. But we're gonna have a lot of fun. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's the end of episode 22 of the Best Damn W Show. We'll see y'all next week. Oh yeah, don't come in on Friday for the playback. Tom, if you get here, don't come late. Our friend Tom, he in Australia. He always don't know. He don't know what time. Like, yeah, like he probably gonna come in the second time. What's up, y'all? We're gonna be ending. But until next week, like always, at the same time. Peace.